I have always a lot of questions, but on the forefront of my mind is about getting ready to be ready. And
I'm glad you said that, because we haven't said it today, but that's really what's happening. You're ready to be ready, 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 to be ready. And eventually there's a manifestation, but there's a whole lot of fun on the way, right?
yeah, there ought to be.
Yeah.
Except I'm impatiently being ready to be ready. And here's the thing.
What is impatience telling you?
I really want it.
What else is it telling you? You're slowing it down.
Not allowing.
You're not allowing it.
Oh.
It would help you to look at it this way. It's telling you that your point of view about what you want and your inner being's point of view about what you want are different. Because you're feeling that there's a risk. Your inner being isn't. You're feeling it's taking too long. Your inner being knows it's right on track. You're feeling like you've done something wrong. Your inner being knows it's all right. There are layers of things that you're feeling that your inner being isn't feeling, that in time, you just peel those layers off until now you're in sync with your inner being. And each time you do that, you get clearer about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing until you get all sure of yourself.
Well, this is what happens to me. I'm a very creative person. I have lived through a lot of contrast, and I've gotten to a point where I appreciate the contrast. An example, briefly, I have a son with autism who's 23 years old now, and initially I didn't see that as a very good thing, certainly when that diagnosis was made. But I have such a great appreciation for the being that he is, and he's such a great teacher for me. So that's been incredible. So I have a lot of stories in me, and I really do want to uplift others. And I do have the skill of writing. I have the skill of art and photography. I have a lot of interests. And what ends up happening is I'm very inspired. And since you told me, especially since you told me last time I was here, that my only hope was to meditate, and you weren't kidding, I've been meditating every single day ever since June 3rd when I was sitting here. And this is day 90 now. You told me 60 days, things will turn around, and certainly it's been an incredible time. I now look forward to getting up in the morning and out of bed to meditate. That's never happened. I never wanted to get out of bed. I just wanted to stay asleep forever because I didn't enjoy life. So that's been huge, and I want to thank you for that. But I am at day 90, and
But who's counting?
Understand.
90 days of feeling better has been a real drag.
Well,
it's a terrible price to pay. This happiness is a terrible price to pay.
Well, I'm at this point impatiently waiting for inspired action.
We'll help you here with this, but we're going to play with you a little bit first. It's like saying, I have these things I want, and I believe I will feel better when I get them. I want a published book. I want a book to flow. I want the book to come with ease. I want to publish the book. I want to teach. I want to help others. And in doing those things, I will feel so good. And so we say, well, the path to what you want is to meditate. So you meditate and you get feeling better and better and better and better and better and better. So you actually got what you wanted. But you said, no, I wanted the book so that I could feel better. I didn't want to just feel better.
Mm-hmm. But those manifestations are so nice.
They are nice, and we're not trying to get you to not have them. That's why you're here in this physical body. Manifestations matter. But we just want to point out to you that everything you want, no matter what it is so you believe you will feel better in the having of it. So if you can find a way of feeling better, then that is surefire evidence that the having of it is coming too. But what's surprising you, and this is the thing we really want you all to hear, is that the flawed premise that so many of you live under is that if I do this, I will feel better. And you didn't count on feeling better until you did that. You want things to go by the way the beliefs have been established within you before. If I do this and this and this, then I will get this. And we say, but what if you could get this without doing this and this and this? Can you hear what we're getting at? So as you meditate and slow the angst within you, slow the impatience within you, and let the feeling of well-being rise, what happens is then you begin to receive the impulses. Now, last time we spoke, we weren't talking as we are today about what that receiving mode is like, about how the thought just downloads. And sometimes a thought that you receive doesn't seem related to what you think you want, but it's getting ready to be ready, to be ready, to be ready. And that's why we say, when you meditate every day, because it's a progressive thing, then at first the thoughts don't seem to be so specifically related to what you think you want. But if you're ready to be ready, then this one might not seem to be so related either. But each day, as more thoughts come, before you know it, you can connect the dots right to the specifics of what you want. Because this is always true. Not only are the things that you want vivid in your vortex, but all the reasons that you want them are vivid in the vortex too. And so there are many things that you want for reasons that you have forgotten. It's sort of like, have you ever wanted something or been with a child who wanted something and they've been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it so long that they've forgotten why they want it? Now they just want it because they don't have it. They don't even remember why they wanted it. And when they get it, they don't even spend that much time with it because the reason that they wanted it is no longer really active within them. And so we want you to realize that everything that you want and all the reasons that you want it are active in your vortex. And so if you'll just be satisfied with feeling better and satisfied with feeling better and revel in the fact that when you wake up, you want to be up, then you're ready to be ready and more clarity will come about. You see, what's happening with you? You are in the process of personally receiving personal knowledge that the joy really is in the journey. That really is what you most want to understand. That really is the point that most humans miss altogether. They just stand in vivid awareness of what has been manifested. Not what is. What is over here in the vortex. What is in the vortex. And what is really is what is becoming. In other words, it's what's becoming that really is. This stuff that's already manifested is old news. It's like gum that you've already chewed the flavor out of. It's there, but most humans are so fixated on the manifestation of what is, and they want to add more to what is, but their very attention to what is doesn't let them add more to it because their attention to what is holds what is right where it is. Isn't that interesting? You got to stop being so fixated on the manifestation in order for the manifestations you want to manifest. We want you to feel the distinction between the word manifesting and manifested. Focus on the difference between creating and creation. Can you feel the difference? You are creating. You are manifesting. And once it's manifested, it is done. And that's not where the fun is. That's where the insurance comes in and the dusting. It's the manifesting, the creating that is the fun part.
There's another aspect to this that I wonder, it probably has something to do with worthiness.
It doesn't have anything to do with worthiness. It has to do with pinching yourself off because you decided you're not. Worthiness just is. Get used to it.
I was wondering, what does it feel like? Because I've always linked worthiness with deserving. And I know that there's been plenty of times that I'll stick up for myself and say, I deserve this. I'm being shortchanged.
So you're in your car. Is that where you listen to your radio? Sometimes Esther does. You're in your car and you tune it to this station that plays such satisfying music. And you say, I must be worthy. We say, no, you just tuned. You just tuned. XM radio doesn't say, unworthy. You can choose from this and this and this, but not this.
I kind of have this feeling that worthiness, at least how I interpret it, and that maybe I don't know what it feels like really, because I feel like there's a part of me that's asking somebody else to let me have, I don't know if I can explain it quite right.
The other day, we were visiting with a handful of people, and we said, what is the word that we've offered more than any other word? What do you think it is?
Allowing?
Drum roll, please. Attraction. Attraction. The word is attraction. So it's not about someone bestowing or granting your wishes. It's about you attracting them. So how do you attract them? Life causes you to ask. That's part of it. And the creation of them happens, and Source focuses upon them. That's part of it. And then you get into the receiving mode. That's what attraction is. You ask and let in. 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 You ask and let it in. You ask and let it in. And that's what attraction is. You offer a vibration about it. You learn to offer a deliberate vibration. You learn to tune. Tuning is attracting. Tuning is attracting. Paying attention to the way you feel and reaching for thoughts that feel better, that's tuning. That's attraction. That's deliberate attraction. And so, yes, there are so many avenues through which the things that you're asking for will come. Maybe someone will walk up and hand it to you. There are endless ways that your wishes are granted, so to speak. But it's about attraction. It's not about anything else. Because if you didn't have the experience that caused you to ask, and then you didn't have the sensitivity to your emotional guidance system that caused you to allow, then you couldn't experience what you're asking for. Worthiness is something that man makes up when he holds himself in vibrational discord to what he wants, and he says, I know I would not do this to myself, so somebody else must be doing it. And if somebody else is doing it, then they must have some standard by which they're doing it. They must have some rules that clearly I am not keeping. Because if I were keeping their rules, if I were worthy to their rules, then they would give me what I'm asking for, since I erroneously and incorrectly believe that they hold the power to me, which they do not. You see, that's helpful. Is that helpful? In order to be worthy, somebody else has to be petty. Yes? Does Source love you or not? Yes, all the time. It's not the absence of Source's love that doesn't let you have what you want. It's the absence of your own love. That's the discord, you see. So rather than saying, I'm unworthy, say, I'm sloppy in my thinking. Rather than saying, I'm unworthy, say, I'm willing to feel negative emotion and put up with it. Rather than saying, I'm unworthy, say, I tune myself out of vibrational alignment with my own desires. And then I blame some outside force for the lack of bestowing to me, when all along it's me letting it in or not.
How can I train myself to feel that worthiness, that feeling of it?
You can't. It helps to hear it, as we just explained it. But the way you train yourself is by reaching for something that feels good and then staying there as long as you can, and avoiding things that don't feel good by reaching for things that do feel good. You can practice the feeling of unworthiness. In fact, you've been practicing the feeling of unworthiness right here in this experience, where for the second time in not that many months, we've plucked you from the audience, put you right in our gaze, and showered upon you everything we've got. And still, you can, if you want, say,
I know. And the very first time I came...
Doesn't that seem silly, though? And doesn't it seem like something that you don't want to do anymore? And doesn't it seem illogical given the knowledge that you hold? And isn't it just a pattern of thought that is dissipating more and more? And isn't that pattern of thought being replaced with other patterns of thought that just feel way better? And doesn't it feel good that you meditate and you're feeling better every day? And isn't it getting better every day? And aren't you getting ready to be ready to be ready? And doesn't it feel more like you want to say things are improving rather than why haven't it gone all the way? And
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.